All right, let's get this rolling. Welcome to BudNixon channel. Welcome to Adventure Ready Shop. Thanks for tuning in. This video will be fairly maybe long at certain sense, but this video has a purpose of DustBox's introduction and DustBox's installation. So if you are interested or you have purchased this product, this is the video for you. A little background on the DustBox. I believe I'm the only one, currently we're the only ones who are making this in US. So if you're a manufacturer and this is to your interest, if you're a trailer maker or some kind of a canopy maker, I don't know, something where this product could be useful to you, reach out to me. We do have direct sales and wholesale pricing for that as well. Let's see, what else is there? Positive pressure system, do research it. If you don't know what it is, feel free to Google it. I think maybe AI, I don't know, ChatGPT might help you. But positive pressure system, how I came into it is that I built an off-road trailer, which I found out would get dust in it, considering a lot of times when you're traveling very slow speed on a dusty, pesky trail, if you're properly taking your trailer to, or your off-road rig, you're taking it to the places where roads are very much less traveled, and they're similar to like Eastern Oregon, dusty, silty areas, whatnot, Utah, Colorado, I don't know, southern states, wherever you're traveling where there's a bunch of dust, I'm sure you will come across the problem where dust gets into all the possible little spaces, places, especially your bedding, and it just becomes kind of, let's just say, unpleasant. So that has been my problem, and thus the solution. So the solution is this product here. This is called DustBox version 1.0. We do have other ones already on the way to serve needs of RV industry and van lifers. But this one is, as a first version, it will work basically on any enclosed trailer, canopy, on any space that can be pressurized. By pressurized, I mean there's no open vents or windows when you're trying to keep the dust out, because if that's the case, then guess what? You're gonna have dust no matter what. So, considering you are able to pressurize the space you're trying to pressurize, and like I said, feel free to comment below and ask the question if you need more clarification. But generally in the industry, most campers, trailers, canopies can be pressurized, considering certain preventative steps are taken as far as sealing it up, closing it up. And in most cases, I'm going to say that if you do travel in the dust and you don't like dust, you probably have started already doing that preventative, closing up of the space to prevent the dust from entering. So this is a simple tool which I believe will satisfy most people's needs. That's just my personal point of view. And it is based not just on my personal experience, but already on various experience of many other customers who have done this. So with this said, DustBox, aluminum enclosure, 16 by 7.5, just under 6 inches this way. It is a washable filter. 5 amp drawn electricals for those electrical gurus or geeks who want to geek out on the stats. It's around 5 pounds, 5 to 6 pounds heavy, size of a lunchbox, like a few of the customers have said when they got in. They're like, hey, it's so small that I expected it to be bigger. But it is. It's small and it does the job. So this is how the DustBox looks, and this is the color of dark gray metallic. This is the black color. And I figured that the best way to go into this part is I'm going to do an opening of the, let's open the box and see how it comes to you in the mail process, which will help you basically understand what are you getting and how the whole installation works. Because what I've done is I'm going to utilize this space here where we're going to do like a, I don't know, exemplary installation, if you want to call it that way. So with that out of the way, let's get one of these boxes opened up and we'll go from there. When you order this product, you get a box like this, and when you open it up, you're getting a few items inside, and we'll start with getting everything out. And this is a unit in color black. The unit I was showing earlier is the dark gray metallic. Some might work, you know. So basically, let's go this way. It's a matter of color preference. Received in the box. You have the instructions. You have the system itself. You have the trim ring and the template. These 4 bolts here. The hardware attached there, you remove that before you get access to these. And this will accommodate to inch thickness of the wall. If you're going to be dealing with an installation where your wall thickness of the roof of the wall or the wall itself is thicker, or you need a longer hardware, feel free to reach out to me and let me know what thickness it is you're going to be working with, and I will send you a set that will match that as well. That could be done. So we get the template and the interior trim here, and the installation instructions. Installation instructions, they talk about tools and materials recommended for the instructions, which some of the stuff is already in the box, obviously. And there's a parts diagram with a wiring diagram to give you a basic idea of how things should go. Okay, so let's put this away and get to the next step. All right, so as you got the unit in hand, before you start cutting anything out, obviously you want to make sure you take the unit and set it up to the location where you're going to be installing it. My recommendation, as normally would be said, manufacturers suggested installation location will be the most front and most high possible in whatever area you would be installing it on a camper or trailer or the camper shell, whatnot. The reason for that is that this way the system is getting the cleanest possible air to start with. So this way you're not having to deal with maintenance of the filter more than you really should technically have to. So just imagine the idea of having this thing in the back, for example, of the vehicle or the camper where the most dust is already accumulated. So this thing will be sucking in all that dust to get in there. It will still function, but it obviously will require a lot more higher intervals of maintenance of the filter versus if you were to put it up front somewhere in a camper where there's the least amount of dust as you're traveling. The filter will not have to require so much more maintenance. In my personal example, I think I'm close to 12 months, probably about basically once a year I end up cleaning this guy out, even to my surprise, because I did a lot of dusty trails. So with that said, once you find the location where you're gonna be doing the cutout and you set up the direction, and the dust box unit can be installed basically in this way or this way or this way. The only way I'm not recommending it to be installed is with the logo cutout here, basically with the filter facing forward or filter facing down like this in most cases. Well, probably okay, but you do not want to face it this way, for example, on top of the camper, for example. You want to face it this way, so this way the airflow, moisture and everything, even when it's not getting used, you're not getting, you're not dealing with extra basically water intrusion that you don't really want to deal with in the first place. So we got that part taken care of. Next part, the cutout. Keep in mind that the arched part is for the wire part here. So that is how that works. So in this case, basically you want to mind the fact that when you're doing the cutout, when you're using the template, is you're facing it the right way. And we should almost take a marker and put probably, back that way, right? So kind of give you an idea, you can almost mark that before you do the cutout. Template, marker, pencil, whatever it might be, you're gonna basically mark. What I would do is I would mark the outside, I would mark the inside, I would mark the openings for the hardware, for the bolts. 5/16 opening is the best way to go about it. And you're gonna cut this out. Now, what tool you use is up to you. Jigsaw, cutout wheel, I don't know, sawzall, whatever, it might be. I've seen some guys take a drill bit and go every so often to make that opening happen, and then use a utility knife to cut it out. It really, truly is up to you. How perfect, how clean this needs to be is up to you as well, or up to the installer shop how they're gonna do it. So with that opening taken care of, next step, we remove the cover. I had the bolts pre-removed, if that's the word. Right, so cover off, place it where it's convenient. Keep in mind that if you remove the filter, it will make the installation simpler. We're removing the filter. I did have the clamp loosened. Make sure when you put this thing back on is you tighten the clamp up, otherwise it will not be as efficient as it should be as far as bringing your clean air in. So you're gonna obviously line up, like I said, where that arch part is, that's where your wires will be. So you want to make sure everything matches. Hardware from the underneath is matched. Now, depending how you're gonna route the wires. So in this case, if you're gonna be wiring them through inside of the actual wall, and you're gonna run it through, I have marked this location, and if it's not marked for any reason, you could always mark it yourself. But I marked this location, and it's kind of pre-drilled. So basically, you drill this opening to compensate for the wire to feed through. So this way, the wires could be from interior going into whatever the power, wherever the power source will be. Or if you're doing this inside of a wall cavity, you know, there's no need for this opening. You're simply going to put this interior piece on and call it good. But like I said, basically you want to make sure that the wires are done, and this lead will pull out obviously longer to a certain extent to make the installation easier. So once you have everything figured out, how you're going to put it, where you're going to put it, what you want to do is you want to put a bead of sealer right around this perimeter. Now do your own due diligence to make sure that, you know, that's what takes place. If you wanted to, you could always kind of go off the template, and where the template is, basically this is where you want to put the sealer here, and then you want to put one on the outside of this part of the template itself. So we're going to set the unit down. You're going to feed the wiring through whichever way you need to. The next thing is you're going to do is you're going to be sandwiching basically this through the wall with these 4 bolts. And I'll take some critique here, considering you're going to say that, hey, this is so much easier because you're not dealing with an actual wall of the unit or whatever, right? And I understand that part, but this is where the professional installer's job comes in, and this is what we're all getting paid for, or where we can do this ourselves, where we're saving the money. Boom, boom, boom. Take your tool, whatever of choice, to tighten up the hardware. Now, I don't have a certain torque rating, but I would recommend getting it snug without damaging the hardware. And we're talking about snug where it's just enough to a point where you should see some of the sealer getting squished out from this area, which is normal, because you should have enough sealer to put another bead on the outside. Highly recommended. Not required, but highly recommended, just for the simple fact that you could not have ever too much sealing, I guess, if that makes sense. But applying this last bead, this is where the removing of the filter definitely helps. Putting this last bead in there, making sure that all the sealer goes in there and seals it up, so you have no way or reason or need to worry about any water intrusion into your space here through this specific opening. So with that out of the way, what we're looking at, so this is how it would look from inside. And again, this specific trim here, I'll be offering this in different colors eventually, so if you want to go down the road and replace this with white or even a wooden kind, let me know to the requirement. Depending on how many requests I get, I'll make a few different versions of this as well. So now that we have this unit attached wherever it was mounted on, we're going to be running the wires. There's power leads here, and again, you need to have this thing apart, but you should find 2 power leads here. These are the 2 that go into the actual unit. The ones that have these ring connectors. There it goes to your power source, and then wherever you're going to install the switch, that's the way to go about it. Once all that is wrapped up, you're going to install your air filter in place. You're going to put the lid back on, right? And I always recommend hand tightening or hand, threading the bolts first few turns by hand to make sure everything is threaded good, because last thing you want to do is damage the threads on this. It would not be fun. Then we're gonna go and tighten up the unit. No need to over tighten anything. Aluminum, simple, thin, light, totally doable. Boom, shakalaka. This is done and installed. If you're wondering what this is perfect. So this, I took this to a couple of shows that I did, and this is basically a presentation stand of how the system works. So imagine a DustBox unit installed on top of a trailer or whatever it is might be, right? All the openings, so there's no pressure inside of the shell of the camper or whatever. So there's, it's free flow kind of thing. So when you turn the unit on, well, I guess we need to power it first. Good old arc pack. So when you turn the unit on, you heard the door smack. Again, pay attention. See how that door just shuts? And now if you try to open it, the pressure inside keeps it shut. So it basically forces all that air or whatever is inside to keep other things from entering. So like there's a little crack opening here. You could feel that air draft here. So basically imagine this is your trailer and dust is trying to get through all these cracks and openings here for whatever reason, but the forced air that's from inside being pressurizing inside of your camper is forcing it out, so the dust does not have a way of intruding into that space. So that's the whole idea or the purpose behind a positive pressure system. All right, well, I guess it's time to do the clothing statement. So GoAdventureReady.com, GoAdventureReady on Instagram. I don't know, you can find me through this channel here or whatever, but the direct store sales right now, the lunch price of these is $4.50 with a little bit of shipping. I think it's like 20 bucks or 15 bucks to ship it on average. But that's a lunch price, because MSRP we're doing on this unit will be, I believe it's either 600 or 700 bucks. So again, if you have any questions, comment below. If you have any questions on installations, feel free to reach out to me. I mean, if you're already a customer, feel free to reach out to me. Let's see, what else is there? We can talk about another unit maybe, or maybe we make that into a next video. So for now, I'm gonna say, I guess, goodbye, and we'll see you on the next video. Again, any questions or comments, put them all down below. If you haven't subscribed to this channel for more stuff that's upcoming, feel free to subscribe, review the other videos we've already done on the trips we've gone, and you can see a little bit of my personal overlanding background, I guess you could call it. So welcome to Nixon Overland family, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.